Gary Parrish here, CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball podcast with the head coach of the Houston Cougars, Kelvin Sampson. And I gather I owe you a belated happy birthday. You turned 70 years old earlier this month. I bring this up in part just to say congratulations, but also my mother turned 70 years old tomorrow.
Hold up. I'm old enough to be your dad?
You are old enough to be my dad, even if it doesn't look like it. Even if it doesn't look like it. How big of a deal is 70? Do I need to go all out tomorrow?
Yeah. I think there's certain demarcation point ages. 60s become way younger,
right.
But 70 and 80 kind of are benchmarks. Right. You know, once you get to 80, there's a celebration of life.
Yeah.
Once you get to 70, you're headed toward it.
Yeah. So I'll fly home and I'll make a big deal out of it.
Do it
tomorrow night.
You know why you should? Because you can.
There you go.
There you go.
So I was talking to Grant McCaslin earlier, and he said that when he got eliminated, his team, from the 2025 NCAA tournament, it was by Florida in the Elite Eight, he went back that night and watched the tape and has watched it repeatedly since then to just try to make sense of it and learn from it, because he was up double digits on the eventual national champion. You have a similar story in the national title game. I wonder, have you gone back and visited that tape?
Just clips.
Yeah.
I wanted to see. I thought we were very undisciplined to start the game, and then I wanted to. JoJo Tugler only got to play 16 minutes in that game, and I wanted to see his fouls. Same with Javier Francis. Then there were certain situations. They ran a horns plate I thought was excellent. I watched that because I want to steal it. And then the last 3 minutes, our team was – what our team was really good at was not beating itself. Right. It means we didn't miss many blockouts. We didn't turn the ball over in key moments. Didn't turn the ball over, made free throws. We did some things there that a little bit uncharacteristic. But, that game is something as a coach, you're going to beat yourself up for, but at some point you've got to say, okay, the next time we're in this situation, whether it's the Big 12 Conference tournament, right, or the championship game in the Players Era tournament, or this game or that game, you just have to learn from it.
Right.
And that every experience, good, bad, or indifferent, is part of the experience, and I'm just thankful to have had the chance to do that.
Well, it's interesting you put it that way, because Grant actually said, I have learned something from it. And he said, I look back on it and I wasn't comfortable with my offense-defense substitutions late in that game. And that's something I will be more aware of next time I'm in that spot. Is there anything specific that you learned from watching that?
If you're going to run your offense through your post guys, whether it be a low post, elbow, three-point line, we have all this crazy terminology. We call them booms and zooms. Is make sure you have multiple guys that can do it. That's not easy to do, but being able to play through the booms with JoJo was a big part of LJ's offense. Because LJ wasn't as good in a pick and roll as he was a boom. Milos was good he was better at the pick and roll. Emmanuel was better in the middle. So I kind of knew where all our strengths were, but just being more diversified on offense and make sure our kids understand that don't be afraid to miss, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Shot selection is never going to be perfect, because sometimes you're going to play a good defensive team. And Florida was a really good defensive team. They had so many really good individual players, but that team was extremely well coached, very disciplined. But they all could guard. Martin could guard. Right. He could really guard. The depth of their post guys. As long as we could have either Javier or JoJo on the floor, I felt we were fine.
Right.
But, we had a stretch there they both were in foul trouble, and we couldn't keep them on the floor. So, but nothing you can do about that either.
Right.
But the opportunity in breaking down the 4-minute segments, what did we run out of the first 60-minute timeout? How did we get the 10-point lead or 12-point lead, whatever it was? What did we look like from the 12 to 8? You know, you'll pick apart. I haven't watched the whole game, but I've watched 12 to 8.
Gotcha.
I watched 16 to 12. Then I watched 8 to 4. Then you say, you know what, we can get better here.
Right. We've
got to get better there. So that's the way I've looked at it.
Emmanuel didn't get the shot off at the buzzer. And sort of my main memory, or among the memories from that night, is just there's a certain rhythm to a basketball game, particularly the end, and you just expect to see a shot go at the rim. And when that doesn't happen, it just felt abruptly over. The game felt abruptly over. How do you remember that moment?
Just the finality of it all.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the Purdue game, calling timeout and working on. We had worked on that same situation through the third option. Very rarely you're ever going to get to a fourth, but you can get to a third, and then. Milos knew he had to get both feet in bounds quickly, just in case. You never know. But that play was made because of JoJo Tugler. So now, and you're forcing those decisions a lot during the season, especially on the road. And we were a really, really good team in close games. You know, the way the Duke game unfolded, the game at Kansas, the way that unfolded, at Central Florida. And I could go on and on. Seems like every game you play on the road is going to come down to the last 2 minutes or to the last minute. So we had a wealth of experience in those same moments. And every coach has a package of actions in his pocket that he can just pull up because, okay, here's who's guarding who. Start there. Then you go, here's the action that I think we can get. But then you know you're going to get a shot. It's just a matter where it goes in or not.
Right.
So we ran a misdirection. If you go back and look at the play, if you watch as the play developed, the guy guarding Emmanuel, just watch it. You know, we sent LJ over the top as a decoy, and for a point guard to really sell an action, he's got to sell it with his eyes.
Gotcha.
You know, he can't be looking at his secondary. He's got to sell the primary. And so Milos dribbled right at LJ, and the guy that guarded Emmanuel went with him,
right.
And that's when Emmanuel took off. So if you look at how much separation he had, that's why he turned to shoot it. Little did I know that Walter Clayton Jr. was going to turn out to be Deion Sanders.
He could recover like that.
And that was on the flight of that ball, by the time he caught it, got squared up, cocked it, and loaded it, he went from out of position to making just an unbelievable play. But that's just like the Purdue game or the Duke game or the Kansas game for us. Somebody had to make a great play at the end for us to win those games. And somebody had to make a great play for us at the end of the Florida game. But the guy that made the great play was Walter Clayton Jr.
So let's talk about the positive. It didn't end the way you wanted, but you were in the game and good enough to win it. You're also 34-4 in the Big 12 in the past 2 years since moving over from the American. How do you make sense of that? Nobody's supposed to be 34-4 through 38 games in the Big 12.
Yeah, I think one of the things that most players will feed off their coach and how he handles things. So there's always a summer narrative with every team, right? So our narrative that summer was, how will you guys do going into the Big 12, our first summer? And that's really an unanswerable question. So I don't know. But we're not playing the Big 12. We don't even know our schedule yet. So when I talked to our team, I never mentioned the Big 12. When the schedule came out in September, early September, I think our first game was against West Virginia at home. So instead of the Big 12, we were playing West Virginia. I never talked about anything else. We're playing West Virginia.
So just to put it in 1 year, you might be playing East Carolina. So you talk about East Carolina. The next year, you're playing West Virginia. That's what we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. That's just the way I've always handled it. And that's not coach speak. Go ask any player that's ever played for me. I don't ever talk about the next game. I don't believe in the what do you call a game that you're supposed to win and you have a letdown and lose it?
Trap game?
Yeah. I don't believe in trap games.
Right.
They're all important.
Right.
It's our next game. That's way more important than any game. It's not the last one or next. It's this game. So if you watch us play a 40-minute game on Tuesday in the middle of November, you're going to see the best we can play that night. Mm-hmm. And then we get to the next one. I think the next one that year was at Iowa State. We had a chance to win it. Monsiljevic hit a fall-away 3. We lost by 2. And I'm not sure we played good enough to win that game, though. So we're 1-1. Lost at Iowa State. It's not the end of the world. Now, the next one bothered me because we're playing at TCU. And we had to really, really work hard to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory in that one. And we did. And so now we're 1-2. And so you've got 18 games. We've played 3. So we have, 15 left. And I think in the next 15 we went 14-1. Right. But we did it because who was our next one? Not the Big 12. Right. It's the next game. It's the next team. And then last year, I don't remember what we started, but that team was 4-3 coming out of November. But our next game was Butler at home. Butler's going to get the best version of us that we could possibly give. And then we'll figure out who we play next. But I remember the only conference game we lost was at home to Texas Tech. But Texas Tech deserved to win that game. They should have won. They outplayed us. They took a negative and turned it into a positive. And that's a credit to Grant and his staff. And then after that, we went on another roll. But, talking about the conference you're in is really the height of generalities. Because each conference represented by schools. Right. And each school has a coach, and each school has a starting 5. They have a 6th man. They have a 7th man. So I don't coach against conferences. I don't coach against teams in the conference. I coach the next game, and that's how we approach it. We played Gonzaga. Right. I knew if we didn't play good, we were going to lose that game because they got a Hall of Fame coach. They got a Hall of Fame tradition program, and they forced us to have to play good. So I think that's the 34-4. I hear that. It doesn't even make sense to me. Right. I mean, who does that? Right. How do you do that? Right. But I think we do it because our players never hear me talk about anything but the scouting report for the next game.
One of the things that has become a pattern within your program is you take these guards, and they're obviously talented, but they're not supposed to be one-and-done, 5-star future anythings necessarily. And one after another, they become all-conference players, All-Americans. We're talking Marcus Sasser, Quentin Grimes, Jamal Shedd, L.J. Cryer, Milos Uzen is the latest. Is there something specific you look for in a guard that you can identify, I can take this and make it into this?
Yeah. I don't very rarely – I know what recruiting is. Most people can identify with the word recruit. But for us, it's evaluation. I think the reason why we've only had 4 kids transfer in 11 years is we very rarely miss on our evaluation. Now, we've recruited kids. The longer we've watched them play, we realize it's not a good fit for him. So it's not a good fit for him. I don't care what he's rated. I don't care what other people think. I care what I think. And I care about that kid, too. It's not he's going to transfer. Our kids stay. Now, we find out how they fit, and then when I say challenge and demand, Gary, that's part of evaluation. And I told LJ, this is going to be the most miserable experience of your life. You have to decide whether you want to come here. We've won before without you, and we'll win without you if you go somewhere else. Right. But you've got to make the decision to come here because I want to be the best that I can be. I tell them all that. But they have to make the decision. I don't beg them to come. I said, we got a great opportunity. We think you're this good. We think you can be here. But we're going to put you through it. And you got to decide whether you want to do it. And whether it was Jamal. Marcus was like 290-something. Jamal's like 180. LJ wouldn't even sniff us because we weren't very good when he was in high school, and I was at a lot of his games. But our program is an honest program because we are what we are. We don't try to be what we're not because we're really good at being who we are because we know who we are.
Last thing before I get you out of here, we did a Candid Coaches series this summer at CBSSports.com, and we asked more than 100 college coaches, who do you think is going to be the next first-time national champion? And even though you were on the verge of turning 70, they said it was you.
Yeah.
They believe in you. What does that mean to you, and how much does it matter whether you retire with a national championship or not?
Well, the first one, I respect coaches. I think because I was a coach's kid. You know, the impact that coaches can have on these kids is enormous. And I think they need truth tellers more now than ever because the game has become so transactional with the portal and NIL and all that stuff. And like this morning, my alarm went off, I think, at 4:40 because my wife's not here. She's back in North Carolina, so I have to get him to take care of Roxy. That's my dog.
Sure.
And so got up and walked Roxy, fed her, went and walked her again. Then by the time I got up to the gym, it was probably about 5:15, 5:20. And when I walked in the gym, all I could hear was our players.
Wow.
And I heard the coaches. And I said, you know what? That's what I'll miss. I won't miss the fact that I didn't win a national championship. That's a hollow trophy. Nobody remembers those. They get thrown away. Think about all the great things that Coach Guy V. Lewis did. I have no idea where his trophies are. Yeah. They're somewhere in some building under something. Yeah. And every coach, especially when I was at Washington State, that was a hollow dream probably because I don't know if we were ever going to be good enough to do it. Oklahoma, the year that we got to the Final Four, I thought we were good enough to win it that year because we had beat Maryland. We had beat Kansas. And that was the year Indiana upset Duke. And so we had a path, but we didn't get it done. You know, credit to them. And then the year we went to the first Final Four, we weren't good enough. Baylor was better than us. And then 22, when I had Josh Carlton and Fabian, Kyler Edwards, Tajay, Reggie, J1, Jamal. Marcus Sasser broke his foot that year. Had Marcus stayed healthy, I thought that team could win it. Yeah. They were good enough. And I thought this team could win it, last year's team. I thought we were good enough. I didn't think that until the middle of February. Because once we got to February, we were one heartbeat. It takes a while to get there, but we got there. And it was going to take a hell of a team to beat us, and a hell of a team did.
Kelvin, it's always good to talk to you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Gary.
All right.